You will never address your lack of motivation without addressing these three psychological components. So if you have issues with motivation, if you start to work on things, get distracted, or if you just have a lack of motivation to do things, then you may be suffering from three components that are typically associated with depression that are at the root cause of your lack of motivation. And these are hopelessness, worthlessness, and powerlessness. So keep listening even if you feel like, oh, I can't be depressed, or like, this doesn't apply to me, because we're not necessarily talking about clinical depression here. We're talking about elements of depression that are known to contribute to a lack of motivation. And so when it comes to worthlessness, powerlessness, and hopelessness, this doesn't necessarily have to also be you who thinks that it's you that are these things. What I actually see quite a bit, specifically in entrepreneurs and individuals that are very career oriented, is if I feel that my career, my role, my company is worthless, hopeless, or powerless, I will start to experience these symptoms because my identity is so intertwined with my work or with my company or with my identity as an entrepreneur. So if you see that your company isn't perhaps making as much profit as you'd like, so worthless. If you aren't seeing the progress that you wanted to see, so hopeless. And if you keep doing things and you feel like you just can't make changes, or if you feel like there's forces in this world that are just kind of you can't control, that are happening to you, and this often really happens in large organizations. So they're often so complex, and there's so many people who have so much influence on your role, so many dependencies, that you start to feel powerless. So powerless, that's the third component. So unless you work on these perceptions, on the beliefs and thoughts you have around these three components, you'll never fix your motivation. You will never have consistent motivation. You will never feel like you're making the type of progress that you want to be making in your life, in your career, in your company. So if this is you and you've been, like reading productivity books or blogs, or you're like on Substack, like reading the latest productivity tool, that's a Band-Aid fix. You need a root cause fix. If this is something that resonates with you, go ahead and you can DM me or book an intro session with me, and we can talk it out a little bit to identify these root cause issues. Because until you fix the identity issue, you'll never fix the motivation. You'll never have sustainable motivation when it comes to your business or your career.